first one is about American domestic politics. What happened? Anyone? American domestic politics. Brittany Murphy died, right? That's the most important thing. What's the most important thing in American domestic politics? Is it all? Yeah, I think it is. Is it? What's the most important thing? American domestic politics. 60-40. What is 60-40? Healthcare. Okay, thank you. Someone actually care about American politics. I thought we are, with American politics. So healthcare, 60-40. What does that mean, 60-40?
60 have the Democrats.
Okay, Democrats actually have about 59, right? They have one independent leaning toward them. So they have 60. Republicans have 40. So they voted. But you don't need 60, you only need 51. So why 60-40 is significant again?
Stop filibuster.
Okay, you can stop the filibuster, right? What do you mean by filibuster? Please explain and educate us.
Just talk about.
Okay, a senator has this right to continue to talk about the issue, to speak and debate with no one. He can just stand there, just talk, and you cannot have a vote. But 60-40 means what? The Democrats have the majority. We call what majority? This is not supermajority. This is not simple majority. Just 3/5 out of 100, right? 60. You have the 3/5 majority to stop the filibuster. We come to a closure. So, sorry, you cannot debate anymore. We just voted you down. So that privilege is lost. So, seems to us that this health care is going to become law, which means American the United States finally will become a socialist country. Right? This is how the conservative accuse Obama, saying, oh, Obama is practicing socialism. Obama is practicing, he wants to socialize medicine. He wants to socialize medicine. Okay, means, the national health care. Okay. Again, this is the difference. American society and Asian society, anything touched by government is not good. Right? Government is not the solution to your problem. Government is the problem. Okay? In Taiwan, some people still have this illusion that government is the solution. Right? Private sector always does better. So, education, you go to the private university. Right? Health care, you go to buy the health care, insurance from the private insurance company. So that's all part of their culture. So no problem. Health care is very important. But in addition to that, what else also happened? In the past week, the controversy is about what we just discussed last week during the speech of Obama's peace, receiving the peace, Nobel Peace Prize. And he talked about one area about the use in bellow, justice in war. And justice in war, in addition to proportionality, in addition to do not harm the civilian, what else did he mention? He said he was against something, and that's the reason. That's the reason he was he decided to close. He was supportive of the Geneva Convention. Do you remember this speech at this part? And he said he was against torture. Okay? Remember he said he was against torture? And that is why he ordered the prison at Guantanamo Bay closed. Okay. Originally, Obama planned to have it closed next January. You know, how many prisoners still there? Okay, one time they have about 600 to 700 prisoners. Okay, and they were held without a trial. You know, remember the Fourth Amendment? You have to have reason to, somehow hold people. And then also in the Sixth Amendment, Seventh Amendment, you talk about, giving people a fair trial. And those people have been held without being charged for how long? Years now. Some of them have been released because they are British national as well. You would think all those people who fight against America since 2001, not just the terrorists, but the one you capture in Afghanistan, they were put in this American military base in Cuba. Okay, sounds strange, right? It's almost like China has a military base in Taiwan. Cuba is the enemy of America. But somehow, United States had a military base called Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. So they put all those war prisoners in this Guantanamo Bay. And they have suffered torture. Some of them have been so humiliated, they committed suicide. And others were forced to denounce their Allah, the God of Islam. So a lot of violations of human rights. And Obama promised that he will close this place because this is a symbol of Americans' violation of basic human rights or due process of law or not respecting this jus in bello, right? You do not torture your prisoner, war prisoner. Now, so this one is going, he said here, he wanted to close order, but then last month he said, well, it's not going to be closed on time. So it means January, we cannot finish doing it, probably will be the middle of next year, but still it's going to be closed. But where do you send the prisoners now? Where are you going to send them? Some of them, like a lot of them are Yemeni. Okay, what is Yemeni? Not Yamani. Yemeni. Okay. Just want to make sure. Who are the Yemenis? People from Yemen. Very close to Saudi Arabia, in the southern part of Arabian Peninsula, the country called the Gate of Leaves, Yemen, right? So Yemeni people. And then there were some Afghan, okay, from Afghanistan. And then you also have few Somalis. So last week, 10 of them being released. Send them back to their countries. Some of them might be free. Some of them might have to go through a process, legal process. But wait a second. Why are you releasing people? Do you worry about them going back and then reconnect with the terrorist groups and become a threat? Okay, so that's one. But what happened to the others? You think you have a lot of evidence. You're going to bring them to trial. but you're going to close Guantanamo Bay. Where do you put them? Again, this is the beauty of America, okay? Because they are prisoners. Prisoners are like customers. You can do business, right? So there are prisons in America saying, yeah, okay, we can take them, you know, because for each prisoner, the government will have to pay me this much money to keep them there. Okay? So prisons in Colorado, prisons in Illinois, some of them, you know, right now the one in Illinois probably will be interested in doing that. The federal government said, no, you don't need to do it. Why don't I? You know what? Sometimes America built prison, right? And they found out, wow, we don't have enough people here. You know, we need to be self-sufficient. So hey, why don't we contract? Get out, go out. It's like our private university. Get some customers. We need to fill in. So the federal government said, okay, you have prison. Capacity is supposed to be 1,600 people. 1,600, right? 1,600. And now you only have 200. That's a shame. So why don't we just buy this prison from the state? Federal government buy the prison from the state. And they say, oh, you have 200, I'll rent it to you. You know, I rent some space to you for 200. Local prisoner. So that's the solution. But, of course, the Republican will say, no, wait a second. These are really very dangerous people. These are terrorists. Why do you want to bring them back to American soil and waiting, pending for trial? You know, don't you think there will be a lot of what do we call breaking of the, prison by some of the supporters? Some of you have seen a lot of movies. You know, always they will, if you have someone important in the prison, there will be all kinds of attack on the prison, just trying to save someone, right? I think there are, all kinds of, George Clooney has one, all those movies, you're being rescued from the prison, so you became a target. Of course, there are certain senators, Republican senators said, no, we should not bring them here, back home. But this is the decision already. This is the decision by Obama because Guantanamo Bay has become a symbol of America's not respecting international law. Again, Obama in the speech said, we need to respect international law ourselves so that we can ask others to respect it. So very important, Guantanamo Bay, the symbol of violation of code, war code, will be eliminated by the summer of 2010. But create some problem domestically now. Illinois, Obama said, okay, if other people don't want it, why don't I put it in my home state, in Illinois, just 200 miles south of Chicago. But also, this is a great thing. It's like, this is a job opportunity, help to revitalize local economy, right? You have new job opening, for prison guards. You have people cleaning, preparing food. So, wow, booming economy for that little town. I've been to some of the prison in Texas. I also went to one prison in Alaska because I was a translator for a homicide case in Alaska. This one, I could probably write a book on this. It's romantic, it's gambling debts, everything. You have everything. But just look at them and say, wow, you don't look very like a movie star. Why? I mean, these are not, the kind of people should be involved in this kind of killing or this kind of extramarital affair. But it is, okay? So you look at them and say, wow, with your look, you're involved in this, but they are, okay? So anyway, killing, mass murder, so because they are Chinese, so I have to translate. Okay, there I learned a lot of them, a lot of American legal things from my stint as the translator. I one time, okay, during the translation, I laughed because it's so ridiculous, right? So I laughed, and I was reprimanded by the judge. Said, Dr. Yan, you should not try to influence the jury. So, and he told the jury, said, okay, scratch that, just take that impression Dr. Yan laughed out of your mind, okay? Because you want to be an impartial juror. So I did that translation. So I also visited the prison. I mean, their prison is really very well guarded. And the prisoner right now, the one I translated for, still in Alaska, he has petitioned. He said, kind of lonely here. I don't speak a lot of English. Can you transfer me to California so I have, some companion I can talk to? And he also applied to be transferred back to Taiwan. Serve sentences in Taiwan. I don't know why not do it. Maybe American government can pay our Tuchen, detention center some money for that. But this is interesting because Guantanamo Bay, you're sending all these prisoners, but the big question is still, can you hold people without a trial? Because according to the American Constitution, everyone is entitled to what? A speedy trial. I cannot just be held there. You have to charge me. You have to bring me to trial. You cannot just say, well, we haven't found enough evidence to charge you. If you don't have enough evidence, release me. If you have enough evidence, charge me and bring me to trial. But this is right now, according to the American law, the military, the war, in a war, they can do that. In a military tribunal, military court, you can hold people indefinitely. Why are they holding people indefinitely? They might not have enough evidence against him, but you want to hold him and then maybe extract other evidence, other information against someone else. So that's the whole problem right now with Guantanamo Bay. But at least it's a good beginning. They're doing that now. So again, use in bello, justice in war. You fought a war. You have to be right. Okay. Now, last week also, Obama did some diplomacy. Where? Last week, last Friday. December 17, last Thursday, Friday, before the conference of Copenhagen ended, right? Obama went to Copenhagen and worked out a deal called Copenhagen Accord. With which country? Anyone? You have class. You have friends, schoolmates who went to Denmark for this. You don't care about what happened to the climate change? What was the final? I mean, do we have a Tokyo Protocol? No, Kyoto Protocol. We don't have a Kyoto Protocol. We have a Copenhagen Accord. Okay, accord. It's not signed by every country, but to say, oh, there is an accord. We know that. Okay, but Obama went there and basically put a deal together with 4 developing countries: China, South Africa, India, and Brazil. Okay, so the 5 countries agree on this, saying, well, we need to reduce the, we will not allow the temperature to rise above how many degrees? Will be dangerous to the Earth. How many degrees will be dangerous to the Earth? That if the temperature continues to rise, okay, Taiwan should be more concerned. Why? Because parts of Taiwan will be under sea, right? The west coast, or including Taipei Basin, might be under water. But more importantly, we're going to lose a lot of diplomatic allies in the Pacific Islands, in Caribbeans. Okay, so we have a lot of island, friends. So if we don't help them, what happens if they disappear? And this morning I went to a meeting. Someone asked me, saying, what happened if Taiwan also went under the water? Should we, like some other country do, go out to buy some land? Some country already went to higher plains of Africa to buy land. Should we go to, Indochina, go to Burma to buy some land area so, later we can move there? Okay, so that's one interesting thing. How many degrees? So far, I haven't heard any answer. 2, okay, 2 Celsius. But, the island country, what do they want? They said no more than 1.5. Okay, but they said, 2. So the island countries lost their battle. But at least Obama, Wen Jiabao, they all came together and put together a deal. Okay, this is basically 3 things, right? Okay, so what are the 3 means? Finance means you have to help the developing world, help them to reduce carbon emission, but also, more importantly, help them to develop green technology. So that's a lot of money there for the finance. Transparency. Okay. This is the one against China. Because China said, well, we have set goals. But the Americans or other countries said, well, we need to have a verification mechanism. I want to know how much, we need to check to see whether you have reached the goal or you have actually done something. China originally very much against this, but finally agreed. So this transparency, obviously, communist countries do not like transparency, right? Transparency. Taiwan is a very transparent society, okay? Because we have Apple Daily, we have #1 weekly, right? So everyone is living in a fish bowl, okay? Transparent. And then Google has made us even more transparent. So everything you do, again, I want to remind all the young people here, students, do not do anything that will leave a mark on Google. Okay, don't do anything stupid. Don't post your, new picture on your blog, for other people to enjoy. Okay, maybe, the next high-tech company wanted to hire you. They just type your name, Google, boom, picture, new picture. Okay, that's not good. So don't do anything stupid because I don't trust Google. Okay, that's transparent. But the first one, what do we mean by mitigation? Mitigation means to reduce, to gradually slow down the carbon emission. So Obama at least was very effective in getting China on board. Okay, if you follow the story, Chinese representative at the conference was very much against Obama's proposal. He was shouting, and then Wen Jiabao asked the translator not to translate his remarks, and then Wen Jiabao deal with Obama directly. So in the final few hours, they got it. So here, two examples of Obama's. One in the Nobel Peace Prize, more abstract, but also with some concrete suggestion about his view, his approach to foreign policy. But here in the Copenhagen, more concrete policy, direction, so push through. But I think with this, also we found out there is a new development for America. That is all the story you have learned before. Do you still have this in elementary school math about counting the legs of a chicken and rabbit in the same cage? You still have that? Wow. But I think the question is, why do we have, have you ever seen chicken and rabbit in the same cage? I know my wife had bought mini chicken before, okay, and want the mini chicken as pet for my dog. Okay, she said, we have a dog. She said, well, maybe she is lonely, so why don't we already kind of neuter or spayed, so she cannot be a mother anymore. That this buying a mini chicken, then she might develop her motherly love, right? So the dog just slapped the chicken and died. Okay, but we didn't even put the dog and the chicken in one cage. I don't know why people would think chicken and rabbit can be in one cage, but right now we do. Chicken and rabbit, United States and China, right? G2, 同笼 G2. Okay. The giant two, okay, United States and China, right? Because what happened in this Copenhagen conference, I think America has recognized these two, of course, they are the biggest carbon emitters of the world. Okay, they release the most carbon in the world. So they came together, and other countries, the representative, the scientists, the NGO people, the environmentalists, they worked so hard for the past 2 weeks. And then suddenly, helicopters of Wen Jiabao and Obama just there and put together and saying, well, this is our decision. So all the other people kind of becoming bystanders, just watching the two made the decision. And even European Union was on the sideline. So G2 is chicken and rabbit. They are together now. Okay, we are going to have this G2 in terms of the global world. And that's why multilateralism, again, multilateralism or bilateralism is more important than ever. Okay? So multilateralism means bringing China into this discussion, and United States and China work together is more important than America going along. What do we call that? Like George Bush deciding to do things by himself. We call him a warmonger, yes. He loved to wage war, but also what else? People call him a unilateralist, right? What is unilateralist? Against multilateral, against bilateral. What do you mean by unilateral? You surprised me. I thought we have discussed this unilateralism. Where is my unilateralism? Oh, yeah, here. Can you see that? Unilateralism? What is unilateralism? Unilateralist. This will be on the final. So, what do you mean by unilateral? I think we have few people who do things without consulting other people, just do it by himself. We call a unilateralist. In professional translation, we call 单边主义者. Okay? But in traditional Chinese history, what do we call a unilateral? 片面 means you yourself do something. 片面，中文怎么讲？片面，中文片面还有什么好翻译？就是你片面撕毁条约 ，unilaterally, breach the treaty. That's unilateral. Okay? So America has moved from unilateralism of Bush now to bilateralism because we do have a bipolarity or multipolarity with two bigger poles. Okay? Okay, what are other things happening in America in the last week? The people begin, I think I'm not the only one watching the Obama doctrine getting in shape. There are people also looking at Obama's in other areas, also look at his doctrine as well. So today we want to, I don't know whether I still have those. I lost all those speech in my other file. So first let's finish the one here. The last three parts he mentioned. Where are my last three parts? Last week we talked about Obama said something about how do you change the three approaches? About the just peace, right? Just war and just peace. Okay. He said, he mentioned about, you have to engage. And if they don't follow the rules, you try to have sanction, and sanction need to be consistent and need to be agree among the international community. So, example again, who appear on Copenhagen summit that should not be there, should be sanctioned by the international community. Obviously, the international community didn't do that. So this guy called Robert Mugabe from Zimbabwe, okay, appear on Copenhagen. Okay, that's when you have we call travel ban that is not working very well. And then here he also talked about prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, and that's another example of you want to make sure this denuclearization from what? Ban of proliferation to gradually reduce them and then to remove them. So that's also very important in Obama's strategy. And if those countries ignore, like North Korea and Iran, you need to have the kind of sanction that will work. So here, another one. America, genocide in Darfur and also systematic rape in Congo. Few months ago, when Hillary Clinton, went to Africa, she purposely visited Congo, eastern part of Congo, where the systematic rape occurred. She stood on the side of women there. But then the question is, if Obama believed in humanitarian intervention, Why? Humanitarian intervention is what we call use et balance, justice of war. What does that mean? Good reason to go to war, right? You have people, systematically being killed or violated, like Congo, like Darfur. But then the question is, why not the Americans are there? Why not there? Darfur is so remote. Okay, Darfur, we don't have any strategic interest. Darfur, we were there one time in Somalia. What a disaster. So I think the question here with Obama trying to strike a balance between the idealist and realist, I think he is realist here. He has, I call selective just war. Okay. If the war can be won, or if the war has to be fought, he will go. If the war is marginal, not very important to the American, quote, okay, I will quote this, national interest, then they will not go. Okay? Afghanistan, because you have the terrorist, the Taliban, the Al-Qaeda, which was responsible for, especially Al-Qaeda was responsible for the September 11 tragedy, so you went to Afghanistan. But Darfur, more people died there. You have a genocide. Even a George Bush at the time called genocide. Hey, genocide under United Nations definition, you can go to war, no problem. But they are still sitting on the sideline. Even though you have lots of people wanting Americans to intervene, we don't see any intervention. Okay, so America here, is a choice between armed intervention or complicity in oppression. I think they have, the second part, oppression in Sudan, okay, in the Darfur area. So selective, just war. They would also, people few years ago talk about Sierra Leone in Africa. The young kids are being maimed. They've been cut off their shoulders, cut off their hands, or their legs. And I still remember one article said, why America or Europeans support intervention in Kosovo. Okay. Where is Kosovo? Kosovo. Europe. Oh, okay. That's better than on Earth. Okay. So it's in Europe. Thank you. Which country before? Yugoslavia, but not even, I think right now Yugoslavia has disintegrated, right? Most of the former Yugoslavia republic became independent. But Kosovo, it was not a Yugoslavian republic. Yugoslavian republic including like what? Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Macedonia, Serbia, Montenegro. Those 6 are the former Yugoslavian republic. But Kosovo is not. Kosovo is an autonomous region of where? Of Serbia, but populated by Albanian people. Still, a lot of Europeans, NATO forces went in, tried to stop, and right now allowing Kosovo, autonomous region, to become independent and being recognized by a lot of European countries. Now, why they didn't intervene in Sierra Leone, which has more atrocities than Kosovo? Oh, because I'm sorry, you're not Europeans. Is it racism? Maybe. So selective just war. Okay, and even when they talk to the countries, why they gave more opportunity for North Korea or Iran to do certain things, but they will not accept other countries. So those are the, I think, Obama need to deal with. And I like this third area. And this is the one very important about United States engagement. Right? In the middle of the Cultural Revolution, they engaged China, and look what happened. Okay. Now, in Taiwan, which American president we hated the most? Nixon? Why? Why Nixon? Because his nickname is Tricky Dick. Tricky Dick. Ooh, very tricky, huh? Oh, because we felt that he should not break into the Watergate, the Democratic headquarters. We don't do that kind of things. We don't steal information, right? So we felt he's not a person of integrity. That's the reason why we do not like Nixon. He sent Kissinger to China, but hey, Nixon didn't break diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Who broke diplomatic relations? Who broke diplomatic relations with Taiwan? Which president? See, we don't even hate him. We don't remember him. We forgive him already. Carter. Okay, Jimmy Carter. But, you know what? With Jimmy Carter's breaking diplomatic relations, Taiwan felt isolated. We felt we need to do something to earn American support because our strategic value of anti-communism is no longer working because United States can use China as a strategic partner. So we became democratized. So don't you think we should be grateful to Carter? Otherwise our authoritarian leaders will not do anything to liberalize our government. So that's one. Secondly, Carter went to China, and then, Taiwan, later our economic development found a greater market in China. We were able to have relaxation. We were able to move our industry to China. So we continue to move on. But without Carter opening China, I don't know how much we can compete with other countries with lower wages and also with cheaper land in terms of comparative advantage. So sometimes you look at the bright side, you think, wow, Carter, thank you. Otherwise we would not have enjoyed all the freedom of speech, all the democracy, because the government has to change. But that's what he said, okay? Not just Taiwan, but also China here. Nixon meeting Mao appeared to be inexcusable, but helped China out of poverty and open to the outside world. And then also Pope John Paul II went to Poland and then helped like Walesa. So those are very important. So do you want to shake hands with the devil? This is the name of the book by on Rwanda genocide. So, but do you want to shake hands with the devil? Because if you shake hands with the devil, maybe that devil will become an angel. But if you don't shake hands with the devil will remain a devil. Okay? So that's the dilemma here. But Obama said there is no simple formula here. You try to balance isolation and engagement. Sometimes some countries need to be isolated, like Zimbabwe or Burma. Sometimes you need to engage them. Okay? So those are the three very important things here. agreement among nations, strong institution. He believed in international organization, support for human rights, and this will be the evolution that will help. Okay, finally, I think we have to deal with, excuse me. This is what Obama has, I think, again, going back to his, we were going to read that speech, going back to this reconciliation between the different civilizations. He talked about the cruelties of the Crusades, right? And this crusade was once used by Bush against the crusade against the terrorists. Okay, now it's not going to be used. Crusade in the history, what do we call? 十字军, 东征. But what do we call a crusade nowadays? Some kind of campaign, 运动. Okay, so, but was not good, and holy war, okay, no holy war can ever be a just war. Okay, what do you mean by holy war? 圣战. So what is 圣战 in Islam? Jihad, right? There will be always people, young people, Muslims, will go to fight for their belief. Consider that a holy war. But Obama said no holy war can be a just war. Okay? If you believe you're carrying out a divine will, and no need for restraint, no need to spare the pregnant mother, that would be wrong. Okay? Or the medic, you know what the medic means? Do you kill a medic in a battle? 怎么中文叫什么？军医 ，OK， 军医。You don't kill a medic or Red Cross worker, but that happened, right? So I think this is what he is trying to win on both sides. He is condemning the Christian crusade in the history, but also criticize the jihad, the holy war of the Muslim right now. Okay. And there is something here. Okay, we will stop here and go back to read his speech. So gradually we are having this Obama's doctrine taking shape. But remember, continue to have those special terms I gave you in the, PowerPoint. So at least you should know all the terms, okay, all their implication as well. Okay, let's take a break. Obama talk about tolerance, right? Tolerating different belief, different ideology, different values. And in this speech in Cairo was a major speech talking about the differences and some of the tension between United States and the Muslim world. So we want to take a look and see how he reconciled those in his approach. But first of all, I'll give you one thing that Obama has done throughout his speech everywhere, is he liked to quote, some of the greeting. For example, here. In Cairo, he said, I am also proud to carry with me the goodwill of the American people and a greeting of peace from Muslim community in my country. Assalamu alaikum. You speak some of this local language, people will feel good. So I don't know why Chen Yunlin coming to Taiwan and speak to the press. Why doesn't he say something like 大家好? I don't know why. All the Chinese officials, Hu Jintao, Taiwan, Wen Jiabao, they love Taiwan, but they never speak one single Taiwanese dialect. I don't know why. Okay, they should learn from Obama. But anyway, he said there was tension between the U.S. and Muslim. There was something rooted in history, and he looked at the differences. He said there are 7 issues he wants to deal with. So we want to deal with all the 7 issues. Here, I think first of all, he says something very important here. He said Islam is part of America. Okay, if you do not notice that, please watch some NBA game. You will find a lot of NBA basketball player with names like Muhammad, right? So you know they converted to Islam. Okay, what else in addition? So there are a lot of African American become Islam, not just Middle Eastern Arabs. So that, and I believe America whole within her that truth, regardless of race, religion, or station in life, all share common aspiration to live in peace and security. So that's offering the first we call greeting, and as well as some kind of reconciliation. But then he looked at the differences. Okay, so the first issue is to confront violent extremism. Okay, both. Okay, Islam. Okay, I can testify this because when I study medieval history, all the Crusaders, right? My professor is a Catholic priest, a father, a real nice father, so gentle. And then he's talk about the crusade, the holy war and everything. And also during the 16th and 17th century, the European went through the religious war, right, between the Protestants and the Catholics. He told me, or at least he taught us, that in history, Muslims are more tolerant than Christians. Islam is a more tolerant religion than Christianity in the medieval time. Because he is a Catholic, so I think that word can be trusted. So here, again, Islam does not equate to violent extremism, not just to holy war or jihad. But again, I'm sorry to say that we still have few people in Taiwan, including some of my colleagues, who will say, "Oh, Islam just one hand with the Quran and the Quran and the other hand with a knife. Say if you do not convert, you'll be killed." That's a wrong impression. Okay, that's maybe extreme, violent extremism, but not the mainstream Islam. So you have to remember this now. Both are confronted with violent extremism. Okay. So that's a very important thing. America is not at war. It never will be at war with Islam. But they both have to confront violent extremists that threaten the security. Okay? So that's the first important thing. For example, Afghanistan, the Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, these are the extremists. They murder people, so that's why he has to keep troops in Afghanistan. And again, fighting is not for setting up American military bases there. It's not for American expansion, but just try to combat the extremism. So also he said, very important thing, like the Nobel Peace Prize, coalition. 46 countries. How many of you do remember what was the number in the peace speech, in the Nobel Peace speech? It's not 46. Huh? This one? Where is the other one? This one? Okay, Nobel Peace talking about Afghanistan. How many? 42. This one, 46. Okay, 42 plus US 43. So obviously, in 6 months, America lost 3 countries. 3 countries said, no, we're not going to fight Afghanistan with you. Okay, so you can see that one. But this is what trying to use 中文怎么讲？以子之矛啊，攻子之盾，是这样讲吗？ Okay, so here he said the Holy Quran teaches that whoever kills an innocent, it is as he has killed all mankind. Just telling you, your teaching do not suggest you go out and kill. Okay, whoever saves a person, it is as if he has saved all mankind. Obama's team know how to do this, right? They went to all different places. They just quote the quotes that local people are familiar with. So this is the one he's explaining. He's fighting against the extremists, but not Islam. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, he's also talking about Iraq. But look at the second one. Okay, the second one is America does have a view on the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. This is where most of the Arabic countries will say, no, we support the 2 states theory. You know, the 2-state theory is not very welcome in Asia. 你们有没有听过两国论? Okay, our former president Li Denghui offered, right, saying, you know, Taiwan and China are 2 states with special relations. We have a state-to-state relations. And then later, 阿扁 said 一边一国, right? So that's 两国论, which was not acceptable in this part of the world, not by China. But Palestine and Israel now used to be, Israel would not accept the existence of Palestine, right? And now Israel is willing to accept that within the territory of Israel, you also have parts belong to Palestine. So this we call the 2-state solution. The reason Israel said, we will not accept Palestine is because no Arab countries will recognize the right to exist. Israel's right to exist in present-day territory. So that's the reason they will not accept Palestine. But this, right now, at least Israel, under pressure from the United States. United States used to describe Palestinian, the PLO, as terrorist groups, right? You know, you do not negotiate with them, but gradually they saw the inadequacy of this policy. And even with all the historical link with the Jewish people, the religion, right? We call in America, what do we call? They try to include the Jews, so they will say, well, the Judeo-Christian. Okay, so this will include the Jew and the Catholics and the Protestants. But if they try to expand this a little bit about, you know, all this are Semites, like even the Arabs can be included, and also more importantly, Islam, very similar to Judaism or Catholicism or Christianity. It's all what we call monotheistic, one God religion, single God. So that's there's some similarity here, but United States has this religious root in Israel. So that's one reason, right? The second reason is it's very sympathetic to what Israel, all the Jewish people suffer over the years, especially during World War II, the anti-Semitism in Europe, and the Holocaust mentioned here. But the other one is Israel does have a big lobby. The Jewish lobby is very strong. 犹太人做的那个厅院非常强啊 right? You understand lobby? Lobby, what is lobby? 游说团啊。最近新的笑话是说大陆的冷气团南下，有人就问说：“哎，这一团是买冷气啊？”贵妇团、冷气团啊，什么团 ？Okay, so lobby, 游说团 okay, very strong for Israel people. So that's the reason America has supported Israel for a long time, but now recognize the right of the Palestinian to exist. But I think America is asking Arabic country also to recognize the Israelis' right to exist. So that's the second one. For a long time, there was a stalemate, he mentioned here. You know, two people with legitimate aspiration, both want to exist, each with a painful history. Okay? So compromise was elusive, cannot be caught, or cannot be realized, but now, at least it's with the international community support right now, okay, you do have Israelis and Palestinians, they have their separate territory, and they can live peacefully and, you know, with security. So that's very important. Roadmap here, okay, that's a key word for any kind of negotiation. You need a roadmap. Okay. Maybe in Taiwan we can talk about a roadmap, 路线图, and how do you approach? Okay. So Obama is asking Palestinians to abandon violence, but also ask the Israeli to, you know, make compromise. So, for example, there are two groups in Palestine. Okay, Hamas is considered to be the more we call extremist one, and then you have Fatah. Okay, so Hamas and this is the more moderate one. Okay. And Fatah of Palestine recognized the right of Israel to exist. Hamas does not. So that's why Obama asked Hamas, you know, saying you have support from some of the Palestinians, so you have responsibilities as well. Okay, so that's why he's asking this question, and this has always been a problem. For example, the first Persian Gulf War, the United States wanted to move against Iraq after Iraq invaded Kuwait. What did Iraq do when America was about to invade Iraq? They sent some missile to Israel. They attacked Israel. They sent missile to Israel. Okay, just try to make this a solidarity among all the Arab states. Like, oh, Syria, how about Jordan, how about Lebanon, how about Saudi Arabia? But only, you know, Saudi Arabia never joined Iraq's side. But Egypt tried to be more neutral right now. But Syria can always be part of the anti-Israeli, and Iran sometimes. So this is a very important issue among the Palestinians and Israel. Okay, the third question here, tension. rights and responsibility of nation on nuclear weapons in the Islamic world. Okay, so we know most of which country, again, I think we talk about what countries have the nuclear weapons. United States, China, Russia, Great Britain, France, what else? India, right? So the 6 members of the official nuclear club. But if you look at their religion, United States and Great Britain, mostly Christians, right? France, Catholics. Russian, Orthodox, 东正教. Chinese, Confucianists. India, Hinduism. Hey, Islam doesn't have a bomb. Is that fair? You know, Islam, one of the 3 major religions in the world, and not a single, even if we talk about Israel, the Judaism also has a bomb, you know, in the closet. They have not come out of the closet yet. 还没出柜嘛，以色列还没出柜啊。Okay, so, but Islam doesn't have. So don't you think, you know, if I am a Muslim, I would say, what's wrong? Why can't, you know, if we, you know, is this the reason we have to change our, convert to another religion so our country can have a bomb? So that's a very important, and Iran, for example, think, wow, that's our responsibility, right? Our responsibility representing the Islamic aspiration to have a bomb. So Taiwan said, yeah, Mazu has not a bomb yet. Huh? Should we wait for Macau people? I just learned recently, there are a lot of Mazu followers in Macau. 澳门有很多妈祖的. I don't know why. Why? Anyone can tell me? You know that? 澳门有很多妈祖信徒. I don't know why, but they are. Okay? But I don't think Aumen will develop nuclear weapon. So it's our responsibility in Taiwan, okay, to develop one for Mazu, right? So all the, you know, major religion followers can have one. But here, Iran, okay, Iran, you know, is trying to develop a bomb, and that's a big problem here. And why? Why Iran or Iraq, if they want to develop bomb, will be a problem? Because if they want to develop bomb, the first target is Israel. Okay, back some 30 years ago, almost 1981, Iraq had a nuclear reactor in the process of building, and Israel just bombed it. Preemptive strike, 先发制人. Okay, just bomb that one. And everybody said, fine, because they know if they successfully develop nuclear weapons, it will be used against Israel. So Iran, the same thing. Okay, that's one problem. Iran, Iraq, both trying to get nuclear weapons, but also Syria as well. So this is what denuclearization is very important, and there is a tension here. Okay, Obama tried to reduce, but other countries wanted to have it. So right now the exchange is what? Non-proliferation treaty, and you also want, say, if you give up developing nuclear weapons, you can always have access of peaceful nuclear power. Okay, so that's the third issue. And the fourth issue is democracy. Now, here, interestingly, let me ask you one question. Do we see any major Islamic countries as democracy? Then the question people said, are they compatible? Do we have Islamic countries, democracy? Yes, we do. Where? Indonesia right now. Right? Turkey. How about Turkey? Turkey is an Islamic country. It's a democracy. Sometimes people say Malaysia is a democracy. Malaysia is also an Islamic country. So, gosh, you have to move out of the Middle East. But Turkey has been Europeanized. And then we have some Asian countries. But is democracy and Islam incompatible? Okay, I think Obama is trying to say, no, they can be compatible. So, yes, you can have democracy. But let's look at some of the controversial issues. Saying, promotion of democracy. That's American try to do. Promoting democracy, right? And then people say, wow, American is promoting democracy, and then they call this, okay, I think you need to learn this term. Regime change. You change the government, like Iraqi government was not a democratic one. So regime change. So every non-democratic country will worry, saying, oh, are they trying to destabilize us and overthrow our government because we are not democratic? So Obama said, no, let me be clear. Okay, no system of government can or should be imposed upon one nation by any other. So we are not going to overthrow an authoritarian regime because it is not democracy. No, okay. But America is still committed to democracy because this is the better way of life. And okay, America does not presume to know what is best for everyone. Okay, they will not pick the outcome of a peaceful election. So every time in Taiwan we have an election like presidential election, right? America would say, we just want the process to be peaceful. Which one do you like to see winning the election? No, as long as it's people's decision, we will all welcome, right? So that would be something. So they will not pick the outcome. But that all people share certain things. So these are the one, ability to speak your mind, have a say in how you are governed. Okay, that's democracy. Confidence in the rule of law and equal administration of justice. And then government is transparent. Americans love transparency. That's the reason they have that movie. What do we call that movie? 透明人是吧？是叫什么？隐形人还是什么？有一个电影，就是那个人他自己吃了个药就看不到了。Don't remember this. Elizabeth Sue, I think. So they love transparent, okay? And then doesn't steal from the people, okay? That's no corruption. Freedom to live as you choose, okay? Not just American idea, but human rights. Okay? So he loves democracy, but he will not impose democracy on other countries. But that's the contention there. That's the conflict between America and some of the Islamic countries which are not democratic. Okay. This is what Obama said. Some who advocate for democracy only when they are out of power. Once in power, they are ruthless in suppressing the rights of others. Once they are out of power, they became a Democrat. And in power, they were authoritarian. Okay? So he is saying this should be consistent. I think with Turkey, with Indonesia being democracy, or we can go to some African countries being Islamic, mostly Islamic, and becoming a democracy, then we can go back and ask Middle Eastern country, saying, no, you are not incompatible with democracy. Islam and democracy can be compatible. So the fifth issue is about religious freedom, and that's where, again, if you go back in history, I think tolerance is more on the side of Islam, but not anymore. So this is where he wanted to mention that people of different faith should be able to live peacefully and practice their religion in the Muslim world. They give this example. Maronites in Lebanon, these are a small group of Christians in Lebanon, or Copts also, Coptians, these are also Christians in Egypt. Pretty sizable minority in Egypt. So they should be protected, their right. Richness of religious diversity must be held. So in Taiwan, if we do, our government suddenly found out that all the Muslim population in Taiwan are gradually dying. Most of the Muslims originally from where? In Taiwan, from China, right? From the northwest. So we have this mosque at Taipei, 新生南路, 清真寺. You heard about that one, right? That one actually was there when I was a little kid. I went there, a lot. Not, go in there. It's always very kind of, secret. But I went there, and it's still there. But it's declining in number. So our government said, wow, we're losing Muslim. Then we don't have religious diversity. Why don't we import more workers from from Indonesia? So suddenly we help. Our Catholic Church also declined, so we import a lot of workers from the Philippines. So we continue to maintain. Our Catholic Church right now, without the Filipino workers, I think probably a lot of will be closed, especially in the Zhongshan North Road. The same thing with the mosque. Right now, have you ever been to that place on Saturday, the mosque? You should go there to see. There are a lot of foreign workers there to support our religious diversity. Wow. Okay? So here, also within the division, you need to respect Sunni and Shiite. Okay, Sunni, 逊尼派, Shiite, 10 leaves, 十叶派. 十那个十什么的蛇的 Okay. So that's because they don't get along. Like Iraq, some people say, hey, if they cannot get along, why don't we divide Iraq into 3 parts? A Sunni Iraq, a Shiite Iraq, and then a Kurdish Iraq, right? So you have to respect religious tolerance, freedom of religion. At least America is trying to do that within themselves. So here he mentioned, we call the interfaith project. This word interfaith means among the different religion, like the Christian, the Muslims, and the Catholics. They are all involved. So this interfaith service, okay, you can do that. In Africa, they also have a lot of that. This is the other issue. Women's rights. Okay, now, women's rights. America is supposed to have higher women's rights, right? Greater women's rights than us in Taiwan? No. I think our women have more rights. Don't you think? China used to claim their women are more equal than the rest of the world, because every woman in China can go out and work. Right? 中国大陆每一位女性都照样有工作嘛。So they claim that when we debate in the United States, they said, well, we move, our women have been liberated. 我们妇女都解放了，有工作。And so my wife said, but I have a right not to work. I have a right to be a housewife. 我有权利不工作，在台湾。So that's good. Okay. But we also have certain things that are not right in Taiwan. If you have a job, even if you're 60s, you still call Miss. 你到一个地方看，60多岁的女性还是叫小姐。But if you're only 20s, you don't have a job, you go to the market to buy something. Oh, 蔡太太来，张太太来买菜，才22岁，也是蔡太。I think Taiwan has a big problem here. But we also have few things good, like most of the married women kept their last name. You go to America, they get married, they change their last name. And then they get divorced, they also change back to their own name, right? So whenever I have colleagues, they change their last name, I say, congratulations. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you get divorced. I don't know which one. You know, is she getting married or is she getting divorced? But I think both can be congratulated, right? Getting married should be, you know, congratulations. Maybe getting a divorce is also a congratulations. You know, you're free now, right? But they continue to use their last name once you get married. That's strange. So I'm not sure America is the best country in terms of women's rights. But obviously they think they have more than the Islamic world. So for example, they talk about some of the countries, women's equality are more guaranteed, like Turkey, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Indonesia. What do we see all this? They all have elect women as the head of state. America, shame on you. You know, you have one presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton, and American male decided we better have an African American than a woman. So she was defeated. Right? That was a golden opportunity to prove gender equality in America. And America didn't do it. But Turkey already, right? Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto, Bangladesh, you know, they have women being the prime minister and president, as well as in Indonesia, Megawati before. We also have a few other countries, right? Women everywhere. In Latin America, the Chilean president just stepping down. Bachelet, also women. Philippines has a female president. Where is Taiwan's female president? So vote for Annette Lu next time. 下次一定要支持吕秀莲 Okay? So here, again, talking about women should not be discriminated because they can have their full potential in pursuing employment and other things. So again, this is one, he said, he respects women to choose to live their lives in traditional role, but that should be their choice. Like my wife once said, I have the choice to remain as a housewife, but I can also go out to work. But in China, in the past, you have no choice. You have to go out to work. Okay, so it should be a choice. Why America will try to expand literacy for girls? This is one thing, after I went to the U.S., I felt so bad about Taiwan's women of my generation. A lot of them quit their academic career or, you know, just school. After high school, they went out to work to support their brothers to go to school in college, right? The parents said, oh, you know, girls, I mean, you know, you don't have to go to school anymore. Stop, okay? Maybe they're better students than their brothers. And then they went out to work and helped their brothers to go to school and not getting appreciated. Okay, some of them in their 40s, I know, went back to school in the U.S., did a good job. So literacy is important, but you also have to guarantee that there's no discrimination. So that's the sixth issue here. Finally, he said it's about economic development and opportunity between, you know, the different view of United States and the Islamic world. Okay, one, he talked about the globalization, and so technology, some of the Muslim countries, Islamic countries, felt that technology is hurting or damaging their traditional culture. Okay, Obama acknowledged that, and also some of the countries worry about the contact with the outside world will change their traditional view or traditional values. And again, Obama said, yes, you have to cherish your traditional traditions, your faith, your family and community, but you cannot just stop people from making advancement. So development and tradition. Ooh, look at this. Why didn't he quote Taiwan? Why he quote Korea and Japan? He quote traditional countries like Japan and South Korea grew their economy maintaining their distinct cultures. Agree? Japan and Korea maintain their distinct culture, globalized trade, but still, actually Korea has become more Confucianistic, right? Claiming all the Chinese heritage now. And so also about Muslim majority country like Kuala Lumpur. Where is Kuala Lumpur? Malaysia, Gilombor, please remember this. Okay. And Dubai, I don't think that's a good example to use now. Okay. But Muslim community can be the forefront of innovation and education. This is so true in medieval history. You know, the Arabic people were the trading people. They came to China. They came to the Southeast Asia. Arabic countries were the most advanced in science in the medieval time. Yes, they are in the forefront of innovation and education. All the libraries in the North Africa being kept there by the Arabic people. So very important here. And then no development strategy here, he said, okay, can be based only upon what comes out of the ground, nor can it be sustained where young people are out of work. Say, you have to let people to work. And all the Gulf states have great economic opportunities, but some of them, why it's important to have good economic development? Because once you have good economic development, people have jobs that they will not turn not communists. They will not turn terrorists. Okay, the best, the most possible scenario is poverty. Poverty is the best friend of terrorists, right? Terrorists will go out there saying, your family will be taken care of if you join us and help us to destroy some targets. So once you eliminate poverty, you eliminate unemployment, then you also reduce the possibility of young people turn terrorists. Okay, now how many of you, if you are you have good education, but after graduation you couldn't find job for 2 years, you say, oh, okay, I'm still going, I have no complaint, that's my fault, right? And people say, well, this is what the American did to you. And I think gradually you'll be brainwashed and you want to do something. I mean, how many people can maintain insane sanity after 2 years, 3 years without a regular job? Very difficult, okay? So that's why young people without jobs, what do we call? The most ideal candidate to be recruited for this kind of terrorist activity. So that's why he said economic opportunity is very important development. Education as well. This is important. Look at this. Americans are now studying encouraging America to study in Muslim communities, means exchange program, but also in America, university like Duke University one of the core courses, required core courses, what do we call? 必修通识课 is Quran, 可兰经. So you can understand, know your enemy, or at least know the other faith will be better for you. So people will not have a distorted view of Muslim. And America also begin to vote for, and they also have some of the Muslims in the government, so they can do better jobs of dealing with the Arabic world. Example will be the first America, after 200 years, America last time elected the first congressman, House of Representatives, congressman, first Arabic congressman, or Muslim, being elected. Okay? Very slow, but still there. It's coming. So this is why I think Obama is trying to say United States is trying to work with the Islamic world, with the Arabic world, even though you have all these different issues, but all those issues can be reconciled. The tension, okay, out of the 7 tensions, the democracy issue, the freedom of religion issue, the women's rights issue, the Palestine and Israel issue, I think he just put those issues on the table and say, yes, we can be friends, we can deal with each other. And with his visit first to Turkey and then to Iran, to Egypt, and later also to a lot of Muslim countries in Ghana. Ghana has a lot of Muslims in the north. So I think he has offered at least a peace branch that will try to work together. So here he said, Muslim and non-Muslim, question whether you can forge this new beginning. There is so much fear, mistrust, but Obama said, let's look forward, and not just in the past. Maybe there's something, possibility in the future. Now, with Obama's friendly attitude toward the Islamic religion, some people in America said, Obama actually was a Muslim, right? His father was Kenyan. He was, actually born as a Muslim. He was not even born in the U.S., some people said. Saying, he was born in Africa. But we do find evidence he was born in Hawaii. But people still claim his father was a Muslim. That's the reason he was so. But he had in his book, right, mentioned about his own conversion to Christian religion, especially thinking about his mother. She was did not have a faith, and she was quite, in fear as she approached death. So Obama said, I think he gave very clear picture of what his religion, but I don't think he's a fundamentalist. Fundamentalist is very strong in their Christian belief that they will not accept the others. But Obama, if I am a fundamentalist in United States, especially the Republican right wing, I will not vote for Obama. According to my teaching, I cannot vote for Obama because Obama is not a serious Christian. He's a, what do we call? A professed Christian. 名义上他真的是, okay? But in practice, maybe, but not devoted enough. Not serious enough about his religion. But still, he's not a Muslim, but he offers something which is different. And with the growing of America's Muslim and America's Arabic society, I think he could win more votes there. So again, it all depends on your domestic issues. Domestic constituents, what do we call that? I think I gave it to you. Hyphenated Americans. Do you remember this hyphenated? American? What do you mean by hyphenated? You understand? When people ask your name, like, oh, Professor Chen Xianyan, how do you spell your name? C-H-E-N hyphen S-H-E-N-Y-E-N hyphenated is what? Dash, right? So what is dash American? Jewish American, Asian American, Japanese American, Korean American, Chinese American, Taiwanese Americans. So American foreign policy will be determined sometimes by these hyphenated Americans. They want American foreign policy going certain ways. And if they are a concentrated minority, they might be able to elect some candidates. They might be able to influence policy. The worst one is Japanese American. They just spread. I mean, you might find a little Tokyo somewhere in Los Angeles, but they just spread all over, okay? And the worst one also are the Scandinavian Americans. The Swedish American, Norwegian American, they just went everywhere. So, you know, you don't even can identify a group. German American, but look at Italian Americans. They are in, you know, certain places. Jewish American. So with the Arabic, where are the Arabic Americans? Where are they concentrated? Anyone? You know, the Asian American like to be where? California, right? So I don't know why we still wanted to go to California. Like University of California, Irvine, 40% Asians. Like how can you compete? By the way, this is true. Okay, certain university in California will say, oh, this high school, we will take 3 Asians. Okay, only top 3, 3 Asians. So only 1 Asian, or you know, there's only 3 students, but only 1 Asian. So even if you're the number 2 in your school, but too many Asians already, so they're going to take the other ones. Okay, maybe the top 10 all are Asians. They will take the number 11. So why concentrate in California? I don't know. But this is where Asians concentrated in, like Jewish people in New York, in Florida. Arabic American concentrated in Michigan, in Detroit area. Okay, we don't know why. Dearborn. They love this place called Dearborn. 陆生啊，就是鹿出生了 Dearborn. Okay, there's a lot of Arabic Americans there. So they do have, when you're concentrated, you have some influence. And Obama is responding to the, you know, their community now. Okay, we will continue with other speech next week, and then I'll try to give you the final review next week. Okay, and also your midterm back next week.